Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Cosmic Chronicles. Today, we're going to dive into one of the deepest and most universal questions in human history, extraterrestrial life. This question has occupied the minds of scientists, philosophers, and ordinary people for centuries. Are we alone in the universe? Or to put it another way, do extraterrestrial beings really exist? Have you ever thought about this? Are we the only ones living on this planet? Or are there beings similar to us living on other worlds? It's the perfect time to bring up this question, as this topic has come to the forefront in recent years, with technological advancements and in-depth discoveries taking this discussion to a very interesting point. The issue of extraterrestrial life has moved beyond just being a topic for science fiction to becoming a legitimate scientific research topic. But is extraterrestrial life real? Or are we truly alone among the billions of stars and planets in the universe? Today, we will examine these questions together and explore the possibilities. Extraterrestrial life has become one of the focal points of NASA and other space agencies, thanks to recent discoveries. One of humanity's biggest questions, is there other life, is still one of the greatest unanswered questions. Are there intelligent beings like us in the universe? Because, as far as we know and can observe, the only form of life we know exists is right here on Earth. But let's pause for a second and think, are we alone in the universe? How realistic is the possibility that everything revolves around just one planet? The idea of extraterrestrial life has existed since the earliest times in human history. Since ancient times, we've looked up at the sky wondering if there are other forms of life. The very first astronomers even thought there were other worlds beyond the stars. But was this just a fantasy? Or were the people of that time closer to today's discoveries than we realize? Today, the possibility of other life forms beyond our planet is being questioned scientifically in much greater depth. In recent years, planets like Mars, Venus, Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, and Enceladus, one of Saturn's moons, have become the focus of research. On these planets, microscopic life forms or traces proving the presence of water in the past have been found. Discoveries on Mars suggest that there was once water, and thus the necessary conditions for life. However, unfortunately, no concrete evidence of life has been found on these planets so far. These discoveries keep us at the hypothesis level. The possibility of extraterrestrial life is still uncertain. But scientists continue to study these planets, and new information may emerge in the coming years. Maybe with these new findings, we'll one day discover life on another planet. Projects like SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, are working to gain more knowledge on this subject. SETI, a scientific research program launched in the 1960s, looks for signs of intelligent beings in space. The project examines whether any signal from space has been sent by a conscious being. Artificial signals, radio waves, and frequencies are some of the techniques used to detect the traces of extraterrestrial civilizations. Scientists involved in this project are analyzing any artificial signals from space to understand if they might be a form of communication. But so far, the data collected has not provided any concrete signals or evidence. This has both encouraged and disappointed some people. So why are we still alone? Why is so much research being done, yet we still don't have any solid evidence of other beings? Perhaps we need to accept that other civilizations may not carry life forms as we know them. So far, we've always defined life as being carbon-based and dependent on water. But maybe in the universe, there are life forms that exist beyond our physical and biological understanding. Perhaps we're encountering energetic beings, or organisms existing on a completely different biological level. Think about it. Life might exist in a structure that we can't even fathom, and this makes the possibility of extraterrestrial life even more complex. Perhaps we can't perceive other life forms in the universe due to the limitations of our senses. They might exist outside our perception, in a different realm altogether. Now, while pondering these questions, another concept comes to mind, the Fermi paradox. The Fermi paradox essentially says, if there are advanced civilizations in the universe, why haven't we received any signals or signs from them yet? Fermi, the famous physicist, once said, "If extraterrestrial civilizations exist, where are they?" He considered the existence of billions of stars and planets in the universe and asked, if there are so many planets, why haven't we received any sign, signal, or message from them? Think about it. If a civilization is far beyond our technology, it might be very difficult for us to detect them. Because we are still at a relatively early stage of our technology, and perhaps they don't want to communicate with us at our level. Maybe they think we are too primitive a civilization. In the end, there's still no concrete evidence proving whether there are other life forms in the universe, as we mentioned earlier. However, ancient texts, tablets, and mythologies are filled with stories of beings descending from the sky. The possibility of extraterrestrial life isn't as far-fetched as it may seem. Many ancient civilizations claim to have had connections with gods from the sky and received knowledge from these beings. But here's the question. Were these gods really beings from the sky? Or were they just one of the ways ancient people explained natural events? Was there really an intervention from an alien civilization? For example, the Sumerians and Egyptians spoke of gods coming from the sky on their tablets. The Anunnaki, Ra, and other gods were described as beings who descended from the sky and taught humans. It is said that these gods provided humans with agriculture, writing, technology, and other advanced knowledge. But we ask, were these gods really extraterrestrial beings, or were they part of a narrative shaped by a civilization beyond time? The answer to this question is still unclear. These ancient records regarding extraterrestrial life have created skeptical perspectives. Perhaps ancient people developed the idea of gods and beings from the sky to explain natural events or unfamiliar technologies. But is this entirely implausible? Could extraterrestrial beings have come to Earth in the past and interacted with humans? Perhaps such an interaction was reflected as gods in the minds of the people at that time. However, there's no certainty on this matter. The question of whether these records were just legendary tales over time remains up for debate. Greek mythology offers another example of gods coming from the sky and interacting with humans. Gods like Zeus, Hera, and Poseidon were considered celestial beings. In Greek mythology, although these gods sometimes appeared human, they were mostly far stronger and wiser beings. But were they just mythological figures, or were they extraterrestrial beings? This remains a question many historians and scientists still can't answer. When we examine these ancient records, it's meaningful to approach them with skepticism. Given the historical data and the language and symbols used by ancient civilizations to describe their relationship with celestial beings, how accurate is the claim of an alien influence? Or perhaps ancient people encountered unknown technological advancements that shaped their understanding of beings from the sky. A skeptical approach is always an important element. Maybe all these ancient stories are ways to describe advanced knowledge. Maybe the beings from the sky weren't extraterrestrial aliens, but the people of that time had much more advanced technology. When ancient texts describe gods descending from the sky, we should not ignore the possibility that these stories reflect a very different technological awareness. On the other hand, it is indeed very difficult to say anything definitive about the influence of extraterrestrial beings on these ancient civilizations. Without scientific evidence, these historical texts might just remain mysterious myths. Therefore, while we continue to explore the theory of extraterrestrial life, it is still challenging to have a clear stance on this subject. Whether extraterrestrial life exists may be a mystery that humanity needs to solve. But we must not forget that although these ancient traces suggest the influence of extraterrestrial beings, it is still more reasonable to remain skeptical until we find concrete proof of the answer. Yes, perhaps one day we will find the answer to this question. But for now, both scientific research and the traces left by ancient civilizations continue to lead us on a mysterious journey. I believe that we are not alone in the universe and that there are other intelligent life forms. The universe is vast, and the idea of everything developing around just one planet doesn't make sense to me. Thank you very much for listening to me. See you in another video. Goodbye.